correct use and removal of a full-face air purifying respirator. In some high-risk environments, law enforcement and some first responders may utilize a type of respiratory protection known as a full-face air purifying respirator mask, or APR for short. Ideally, if you're using an APR, you should have received some training in its correct use, and it will have been properly fit tested to your face. However, in some emergency situations, this may not be possible. So we're going to demonstrate a few of the key things which officers need to know if they're required to use an APR. An APR is what is referred to as a negative pressure respirator, and for it to work properly, you need to have a good seal between the face and the mask. For this reason, any officers wearing an APR must be clean shaven, otherwise the mask will not seal correctly on your face. An APR can be fitted with a range of different canisters specific to the threat or environment in which they are being used. You need to make sure that you are using the correct canister for the type of threat, hazard, or potential hazards that you might encounter. We're going to look at the two most relevant canister types for law enforcement. Here we have two of these typical canisters, a P100 or P3 canister and a combination canister. If you're using an APR in an environment where the only threat or hazard is an airborne particulate, such as a contaminated dust, biological hazard, an aerosolized drug or a high-potency synthetic drug, then a P100 or P3 canister such as this one may be all that is required. The large canister is a combination canister, which provides protection against particulates as well as a range of chemicals. Each colored band on the canister indicates a chemical or group of chemicals which the canister will provide protection against. The canister also has character and numerical markings. Color coding can vary internationally, so always check the canister manufacturer's instructions, which will confirm which chemicals or chemical groups are covered. The critical thing to remember with these canisters is that they do not last forever and have what is called a breakthrough time. In very simple terms, this means that after being used for a period of time, they no longer prevent the chemicals from coming through the canister and into the mask. Refer to the canister manufacturer's information for breakthrough times for different chemicals. Once you've selected the correct canister, check the expiry date, which should be printed on the canister. Check for any defects and then attach it to the mask, making sure that it is secure. Loosen all the straps on the mask. Holding the straps, place your chin into the chin cup at the bottom of the mask. Pull the mask onto your head and the straps over your head. Holding the mask in place, tighten the lower two straps on either side of the mask below your ears. Check that the other straps are not twisted and are laying flat against your head. Then progressively tighten each of the upper or temple straps and then the top strap while still holding the mask in position. Once the straps are tightened, run your fingers around the seal of the mask and make sure that it is flush with the face and there are no obstructions such as hair. Then you should perform what is called a user fit test. This is done by covering the front of the canister with the palm of your hand. Take a sharp breath in and hold it. If you have an effective seal, the mask should suck in toward your face and remain there until you remove your hand. If you don't have a seal, check the seal again. Readjust or reposition the mask and then repeat the user fit test. If you still do not obtain a seal, remove the mask and check it again for damage or defects. If you can't get a seal, don't use the mask. Seek advice from a suitable technician, supervisor, or hazmat-trained officer. Generally, an APR should be removed after you have been decontaminated and should be one of the last things you remove. However, if you're wearing an APR with uniform or other clothing instead of a disposable or chemical-resistant coverall, this may not be possible. You should remove an APR in a similar manner to how you put the mask on. Using gloved hands, hold the front of the mask. Using firm force, pull the mask forward, stretching the rubber straps. Holding the mask as far forward from your face as you can, and lift the mask upwards and over your head until the rubber straps come away from your head. Try to make sure that the mask does not contact your head or hair. This technique is used because your gloves and mask could be contaminated and loosening the straps could result in the transfer of contamination from your gloves to your head. Using your gloved hand, remove and discard your canister. Once you have removed your mask, make sure you decontaminate it. Again, we need to think of the outside of the mask as being contaminated, And we want to make sure we don't cross-contaminate or transfer that contamination to the inside of the mask or elsewhere. Always check the manufacturer's instructions for the correct method or appropriate decontamination or disinfection solutions and instructions for your mask. Alternatively, information on decontamination of APRs and other equipment can be found in online UNODC Laboratory and Scientific Services published guidelines.